Yo, welcome back. My name's Alvin. I go by Lazy and welcome you back to the channel. I want to discuss with you guys knowing your worth, knowing what you deserve, knowing that you deserve love, respect, and attention. Let's get right into this. Knowing your worth is very, very important when you're out here looking for relationships, looking for someone that you can settle down, build a relationship, connect with, and just overall be yourselves. When you finally found that person, or you feel like you found that person, you finally make it official, so forth, disregarding titles, but overall, the amount of energy that you guys are putting in, you can call yourself, being in a relationship. One thing is highly important is that if you are putting in 100% in the relationship, trying to work things through, but you feel like you're always met with negativity, or you're met with feelings that are slightly not reciprocated. At times you feel like your respect is not always set as the main priority. We are constantly, looking for that person that we can just connect with and just be vulnerable and just be open with. But not all people, or in some cases, the person that we're wanting to connect with or build that relationship are willing to be open or let down those walls to allow you in, and vice versa. The energy that you're putting forth to try to compromise for their feelings, for their thoughts, to hopefully build a very, very positive and prosperous relationship with this person, but are still met with difficulty. One thing is very key is make sure that you are being completely genuine with your actions. Knowing your worth is very key. There will be people that will use these relationships, these connections, to just basically get all that they can out of you. And that can be anything. It can be your emotions, the way that you make them feel, that sense of slight entitlement at times. It slightly can get difficult. Knowing that if you're putting 100% and only being met or barely even half of that, sometimes it's not always the best to stay in that relationship. Sometimes, and it may hurt, but you might have to just unfortunately cut things off just to keep your peace. Having these conversations with your significant other, someone that you care about, or someone that, like I said, trying to build a relationship. If you're going east and they're going west, but you have a connection of just liking that person or liking what they do, or just the overall image of that person, what you're being seen. Some people have a very, very ugly, or I'll say negative skin underneath, or soul, or whatever representation that you'll can imagine. And up front might be completely beautiful, 10 out of 10, be worth every cent and dime, but is it really worth your time? Knowing your worth is just knowing what you will allow. If you feel like your respect is not being reciprocated, that you feel like that you're constantly, getting your toes walked over, ran over, and you're not really their main priority. Not saying that you have to be their absolute priority, but you're not on their menu. You're not even on their thoughts. The simple things go a long way at times, but not everyone may be on that same wavelength. You might be working on a whole different frequency. What you are met with are sometimes confusion, misunderstandings, and you're wondering, like, how does this person actually feel about you? You know, you're constantly questioning, like, you enjoy the time that you are with them, but you feel like there's something still missing. Knowing exactly what you are willing to put up with, either dealing with their baggage, the necessary just whatever could be that necessary problem. It doesn't even necessarily even have to be a problem, but knowing what you're willing to put up with, that's a very key thing. If the person's, checking off boxes and so forth, but internally you feel like it's ringing off red flags. I'm not talking about cheating, none of that, because that's a whole separate thing. But you feel like that, your feelings and your thoughts are not being, understood or even wanting to be understood. You gotta have that sense of understanding that. You gotta have that sense of respect. We make compromises for everything, but what you shouldn't compromise is your love for them, for yourself, most definitely yourself. If you feel like that what you are being met with is something that you are not doing yourself, say like I said, you're putting a lot of energy into the relationship and hoping and doing whatever you can for it to work, but it's still met with difficulties. And you can't quite wrap your head around it and trying to figure out what could be the problem. Sometimes it's not necessarily you. It might be at times you, but sometimes it's not the case. Having these conversations with your person, your partner, or whoever you draw close to, and get an understanding. And if you're still met with confusion and so forth, sometimes it's best to just disperse. It might hurt, but it's okay, but know your worth. Never ever compromise the importance of love and respect, and also your time. So much love, much peace, and keep that as a main priority.